Hi, my name's Chrissy. I'm going to be your student nurse for today. So I would do my hand hygiene first. If I have hand sanitizer and gloves, I would put those on. Okay, so could you please tell me your name and date of birth?
Cash Allen, 6/4/2003.
All right, and can I check your wristband to verify that? Okay, Mr. Allen, today we're just going to be doing a head to toe assessment. So to start us off, could you please tell me why you're here today?
Because you made me.
All right, can you tell me where you're at?
Jackson,
All right, can you tell me what day of the week it is?
Tuesday.
Okay, and since he was able to respond to me just on my presence and me talking, that would be a response to verbal stimuli. All right, Mr. Allen, so the first thing we're going to do today is check your eyes. So we're going to start out by, I'm just going to be checking your pupil size. All right, that's about 5 millimeters. It's about 5 as well, so your pupils are equal and round. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to be checking your reactiveness to light. So if you could just keep looking straight for me, I'm going to move this light in closer to your eye. I'm just going to be checking to make sure that your pupil constricts on both sides. Okay, those were both equal. So the next thing that we're going to check for is accommodation. So if you could just stare off at a distant object for me. We're going to do this for about 30 seconds, and as he is staring off, I'm just going to be checking to make sure that his pupils dilate. All right, once it's been about 30 seconds, I'm just going to get him to stare at a closer object. Make sure that his pupils slightly constrict. All right, and that was our accommodation. So next we're going to test for convergence. So if you would just follow this into your nose for me. Okay, and that was just to make sure that your eyes moved in together equally. All right, Mr. Allen, so we're going to move on to start our skin assessment. So the first thing I'm going to do is check your skin turgor. I'm just going to pinch right here to make sure that you're good and hydrated. I'm also just going to kind of observe your abdomen and your chest and make sure that your breaths are unlabored and that you don't have anything bulging. All right, your breaths look to be pretty easy and unlabored. Okay, so the first system we're going to assess is your cardiac. So all we're going to be doing here is listening to your heartbeat. I'm going to start with my diaphragm. We're going to start on your second intercostal space, which is your aortic valve, close to the sternum, on your right side. All right, we're going to move over to your left side. We're going to go down to your third intercostal space, which is your pulmonic valve. All right, we're going to go down to your third, which is Erb's point. Your fourth, which is tricuspid. And your fifth, which is your mitral or your apical. All right, everything sounded good. I'm going to flip it over to my bell now to check for any murmurs, and I'm just going to go on those same 5 spots. All right, all of those sounded good as well. So now we're going to move on to your respiratory and lung assessment. So I'm just going to be listening to your breaths here. For this assessment, it kind of just depends on the length of the torso for the person. You're just going to work your way down across bilaterally to make sure everything sounds nice and even. So I'm going to flip this back over to my diaphragm. I'm going to start up here above your clavicle on the right side. If you can just take some good breaths for me. I'm going to be sure to listen at each spot for a full breath. Alright, and when I get down here to the curvature of the ribs, I'm just gonna kind of follow that curvature to make sure I get the bottom of the lung cavity. And same thing on the other side. Okay, everything sounded nice and good. So if you could just sit up for me and swing your legs across to this side, I'm gonna do the same thing on your back. So we can't hear over any bone, so we're gonna make sure to avoid that. I'm gonna start kind of up here. Just take those same good breaths for me. And do the same thing, just work my way across and down. Make sure everything stands equal. And throughout my whole assessment while I'm doing all this, I'll be checking the skin to make sure it's warm and dry. And there's no lesions. Alright, and once I kind of get to the bottom, I'm going to follow that same curvature around the side to make sure I get the bottom of the lung cavity for a full breath. Alright, and over to the other side. Alright, everything sounded nice and even. So you can lay back down for me. The next thing that we're going to be assessing is your abdomen and your bowel sounds. So to do this, we're going to divide your abdomen into 4 quadrants by going straight down the middle and across your umbilicus. So to start this, I'm just going to be listening to your bowel sounds. We're going to start in the right lower quadrant with the diaphragm. Right upper. Left upper. And left lower. Alright, that all sounded good. So next we're going to go into each of those quadrants again, and I'm just going to be palpating them. So let me know if there's any pain or tenderness while doing this. So I'm just going to take my 4 fingers and go in a circular motion about a 1/2 inch deep in each of those quadrants. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to check is for a descended bladder. So to find this, I'm going to put my finger on the umbilicus and the suprapubic bone, and right here in the middle of it, I'm going to do that same circular motion with my hand. Let me know if there's any tenderness with this. Okay, that all felt good. So could you please tell me when your last bowel movement was?
5 days ago.
Alright, Mr. Allen, what color was it?
Brown.
Alright, how frequently do you have bowel movements?
Every 7 days.
Okay. When was the last time that you urinated?
30 minutes ago.
Okay, what color was it?
Yellow.
Alright, was it cloudy or was there anything in it? Was it clear?
Clear.
Okay, and how frequently do you urinate?
5 times a day.
All right, do you have any other urinary symptoms? Okay. All right, Mr. Allen, so the next assessment we're gonna move on to is just of your extremities. So we're gonna start with your arms. I could just see your arm. I'm just gonna be checking that your skin is warm and dry, not any moisture, making sure there's no lesions anywhere. All right, I'm gonna check your hands for the same thing. I'm also gonna be checking your capillary refill, so I'm just gonna press down your finger for a second and let go and make sure that it refills within about 3 seconds. All right, and that one's good, so I'm gonna be doing the same thing over here. All right. Check these nail beds too for the capillary refill. Okay, and I'm also gonna check your radial pulses to make sure that they're equal bilaterally. So I'm just gonna listen to this one first for a second. All right, and I'm gonna check this one as well. Okay, they were bilaterally equal 2+. Okay, and also while I'm checking the fingers, I'm gonna be making sure there's no signs of any cyanosis around the fingernails or the lips or the ears. Okay, so that completes our upper extremities. After we do our fingers, can you please squeeze my fingers? All right, both sides are equal and strong. So now we're gonna move on to your lower extremities. If you just can cross your feet, we're just checking, if you could lift your leg for me, making sure that the skin is nice and dry and warm, making sure that there's no swelling or redness. All right, you can straighten this back out. Or on this leg, we're also gonna check your pedal pulses. Okay, and I'm gonna move over here. You bend this leg for me. And do the same thing here. Just make sure there's no lesions, everything's dry, no swelling. Okay, you can straighten out. Okay, I'm gonna check these pedal pulses too, right here between these 2 toes. All right, they feel nice and equal. So if you could just push against my hands like gas pedals for me. All right, and now just pull your toes up towards you. Okay, so your lower extremities are both equal and strong as well. All right, Mr. Allen, so that completes our head-to-toe assessment for today.